First question to Vladimir Vladimirovich. How do you assess Ukraine's readiness for a ceasefire? Have you already received information from the Americans, and what will your response be? There is also a second question, and I ask both you, Alexander Grigorievich, and you, Vladimir Vladimirovich, to answer. Are Moscow and Minsk coordinating their positions on the peace process? And have there been any relevant consultations today, perhaps? Thank you.
Regarding Ukraine's readiness for a ceasefire, I will, of course, share my assessment. But first of all, I would like to start by expressing gratitude to the President of the United States, Mr. Trump, for paying so much attention to the settlement in Ukraine. All of us have our own current affairs to deal with, but many leaders of states, the Chairman of the People's Republic of China, the Prime Minister of India, the Presidents of Brazil and South Africa are engaged in this issue and devote considerable time to it. We are grateful to all of them because this activity is aimed at achieving a noble mission, the mission of ending hostilities and human losses. First. Second, we agree with the proposals to cease hostilities, but we proceed from the understanding that this cessation should be such that it would lead to a long-term peace and eliminate the root causes of this crisis. Now, regarding Ukraine's readiness for a ceasefire, the American-Ukrainian meeting in Saudi Arabia may outwardly appear as a decision made by the Ukrainian side under American pressure. In reality, I am absolutely convinced that the Ukrainian side should have been asking for this from the Americans in the most insistent manner, given the situation on the ground, as was just mentioned here. And how is the situation developing? Surely many have noticed, have seen that yesterday I was in the Kursk region and listened to reports from the chief of the general staff, the commander of the North Group and his deputy regarding the situation in the border area, primarily in the Kursk region, or rather in the zone of the incursion into the Kursk region. What is happening there? The situation there is fully under our control, and the group that invaded our territory is isolated. This is complete isolation and full fire control. Command over Ukrainian troops within this incursion zone has been lost. And if in the initial stages, literally a week or two ago, Ukrainian servicemen tried to leave in small groups, now this is impossible. They are trying to leave in very small groups, 2 or 3 people, because everything is under our full fire control. The equipment has been completely abandoned. It is impossible to retrieve it, and it will remain there. This is already guaranteed. And if physical blocking occurs in the coming days, then no one will be able to leave at all. There will be only 2 options: surrender or perish. And under these conditions, it seems to me that it would be very good for the Ukrainian side to achieve a truce for at least 30 days. And we are in favor, but there are nuances. What do they consist of? First, what will we do with this incursion zone in the Kursk region? If we cease hostilities for 30 days, what does this mean? That everyone there will leave without a fight? Should we let them out after they have committed numerous crimes against civilians? Or will the Ukrainian leadership order them to lay down their arms and simply surrender? How will this work? It's unclear. And how will other issues along the entire line of contact be resolved? And this is almost 2,000 kilometers. And there, as you know, Russian troops are advancing on almost all sectors of the combat line. And conditions are also being created there for us to block entire, fairly large units. So how will these 30 days be used? To continue forced mobilization in Ukraine, to supply weapons there, to train newly mobilized units, or will none of this happen? Then the question arises, how will issues of control and verification be resolved? How can we be assured, and how will it be guaranteed to us that nothing like this will happen? How will control be organized? I hope that at the level of common sense, this is clear to everyone. These are all serious questions. And who will give the orders to cease hostilities? And what is the weight of these orders? Can you imagine? Almost 2,000 kilometers. Who will determine where and who violated a possible ceasefire agreement over 2,000 kilometers? And then who will blame whom for violating this agreement? These are all questions that require careful consideration from both sides. Therefore, the idea itself is correct, and we certainly support it, but there are issues that we need to discuss. I think we need to talk with our American colleagues and partners on this matter. Perhaps call President Trump and discuss it with him. But the idea of ending this conflict through peaceful means is supported by us.